Welcome back to the AutoXandTrack channel. I know it's been a minute. For my loyal subscribers and fans, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for the encouragement to get back in and record some more videos. For new watchers, welcome to the channel. It's going to be exciting over the next few videos. I've got a lot of great content recorded. First of which, this video is part one of 2 series to get ready, my 1967 Mustang ready for its first ever road race. Done a million track days, but this will be the first time going wheel to wheel, racing other cars, none of this point bypassing stuff, who can get to the green flag first kind of racing. And so yeah, we got part 1 of 2 series. I've also got more content autocrossing the 68 Camaro. I've got content running TCI's amazing 67 Mustang and the NMCA series. We've even got a crash. There's a lot of content coming up that I think you guys are going to enjoy. In the meantime, for this 67 Mustang behind me, where we left off was this thing not running for almost a year because the very first time we took it out to a track day, we had problems. Again, turnkey race car problems, but the rear diff ate itself. So we had a problem with the differential. I had a busted shoulder at the time. So my buddy Efren and Sal drove the car. And I think even Nick Relampago's got a lap in it. And maybe I'll post a link in the video above here. But if you guys remember, when they would downshift, sometimes the car would just spin out. Well, what was happening is the clutch was getting over traveled and wouldn't release predictably. So it was like sidestepping the clutch in the middle of a corner. Bad things happen. So we're gonna get all that fixed in this video and the next video. And then the third video from now, we'll be actually taking this Mustang for its first ever road race. Hope you guys stick around. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we got a lot of great content coming for you. Let's get back to the video. We're back working on the Mustang. I'm sad to admit that I've been neglecting this poor car for months, but not neglecting it any longer because we got a race in 5 weeks. So that motor needs to go back in. Hi girls. That transmission needs to go back in. Are you girls painting out there?
Yeah.
Cool. And this fresh center section needs to go back in. The things we're kind of fixing is that flywheel has a busted bolt in it, I think from the clutch abuse, I think right there. I got to fix that oil pan leak, put the new center section in, probably install a drain plug in the rear axle. So today's mission is just to mess with the flywheel and see if we can get that broken bolt out or not. And then tomorrow's mission is installing the new lights I ordered in the garage. So when I do videos in here, we get a little bit better lighting, especially when the doors are closed. The weather's beautiful today. Looks like despite my best efforts, drilled through this thing at an angle. Yeah, fairly centered on this end, but man, even using the drill press, this thing went through at a pretty bad angle. I'm happy. First step to Mustang running again, complete. All right, I feel like I should buy a lottery ticket because I got the broken bolt out over here, cleaned up the surface. And now Sophie's back. Just didn't plan it. She just came over with the cousins. And so we're gonna let her put the flywheel back on. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Do you know that Chuck Norris built a hospital? The one he was born in.
Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, we got Chuck Norris jokes for you guys.
Do I turn it?
Not until you know you've got it set. So just hold on to it with this part.
Okay.
And like, yeah, now, see how it doesn't really wobble anymore? Like now it's threaded, so now you can crank through. when it, you know, starts getting hard, just use 2 hands. And once you get like a full turn or two, like just turn it back like half a turn or a quarter turn. Yeah, just like that. Now keep going.
This way?
Yeah, clockwise, turn it in. Just especially like if it starts to get really hard to turn, or after you've done a few turns, you always want to like back up part way and then go again. Okay. So I looked in the holes. That's gonna fall off. You gotta hang on, don't. The holes are full of Loctite and other gunk from however many times the flywheel's been taken off. So we're chasing all the threads. So today might only be that I got that bolt out of the flywheel and I get it back on. Have you used a torque wrench before?
Probably not.
Nah? Well, it would have been with me and it would have been that. All right.
What do I do?
What I just said, like stand up and you're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
So flip it around, put this in your left hand and put your right hand there, because it's easier to push with your body weight down like the jack. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to do that star pattern. Okay, you can go on one side and go you're tightening. Oh. We're torquing it. So this will click when you feel it and hear it click, then you stop. When in doubt, go bigger.
What is that even for?
Metalworking.
So it doesn't fall?
This is like shoving beams around, and like this is tapered so you can line up. Yeah, stabbing people. That's what it's for, really.
It doesn't work.
Okay, let me show you. We'll trade places. So watch the end. Don't hit the car, please. Mm-hmm. But you're hooking it on this and resisting. So when I turn it, it's going to try and go that way. So you're just pushing down and kind of stabilizing it, okay? Got it? You got it?
Yeah.
That's the noise. You hear that noise?
Oh, I thought it was going to explode.
Well, only if you're really good. See, noise. Make the noise.
Make the noise.
In case anybody likes Mini Coopers out there. Gasket's off. I'll have to clean this all off, but I'm just taking a closer look at this oil pan, and that is just a lot of gray and something other than oil down here. Don't know how well this is going to show up on the GoPro, but that's almost pure gray. Looks like an old automatic transmission with 100,000 miles getting its first pan change. So definitely more than I'm used to ever seeing in an oil change. I mean, most of this left is not oil, it's gray nastiness. Here's a better look with the tray off. I don't know if it'll show up, but you can just see that there's like puddles of gray in there. So maybe someone who knows engines a lot better than I do and say if that's normal for roughly a first oil change. Or actually, no, this has had 5 autocross laps and 100 miles oil change, and then this is the second oil change with a full track day. Suggested that this is probably not bearing material, but to pull a rod cap and a main cap, I already broke this loose, by the way. Well, one rod cap off. There's the bearing after one track day and 5 autocross runs. I don't see any copper, so that part's good. Pulled the main cap. Bearings don't look bad to me. There's certainly no copper. So I don't think that stuff is bearing. Now I got to put this back together without screwing anything up. All right, recap time. We're back in the garage after a, well, crappy day yesterday. So depending on how all that video came out, you guys will see that I pulled a main cap bearing and a rod cap to check the bearings on those, I should say. Because when I pulled the pan off yesterday, there was quite a bit of gray material in the bottom of it. Not sure what that's from. Thought I should check the bearings anyways, even though, you know, I talked to the guy who built the short block. He did the re-ring, re-bearing and everything for me. And he said, based on the pictures, that does not look like bearing material, but pull a cap off one rod and one main cap just to check anyways. So I did, and I sent pictures to him and he said, yeah, they look fine. And when I went to put the main cap back on, they're still using factory Ford bolts. You can see the rods have ARP. They torqued on fine. I wanted to put the main cap back on, put motor oil on it, tried to torque it to 100 foot-pounds. It got up to 80, fine. And when I went for 100, it broke off in the block. All right, trying to figure out how I'm gonna get this broken freaking bolt out of the engine. Main cap bolt, totally stressed out, and I just turned the engine on the side, be able to get easy access to it. People are like, try and get a pick, see if it comes out. This is what you call getting lucky. I walked away from this thing and sat in the house for the last 15 minutes, just pissed at the world. And well, looks like I got lucky. That's amazing. Thing was trying to torque it to 80 to 100 pounds. Didn't feel right, so I turned the torque wrench down to 80, clicked fine. Turned it back up to 100, turned a little further and said, no, I'm gonna take it out, and then it just busted. I then thought, well, I'm just gonna throw a set of ARP bolts in this thing and, you know, be done with it, like get that off my mind. But then I talked to the engine builder, he said, oh, you can't do that. You need to re-mic everything if you're gonna switch from factory hardware to the fasteners. And sure enough, I looked at the ARP instructions and it said the same thing. And builder said, hey, just try and get another factory bolt, put it in there, you'll be fine. So I went to the machine shop nearby here and picked up two new bolts, well, two new to me, used bolts to replace the ones on that cap. Since one broke, I don't know that I necessarily trust the others. His take on it is, you know, that bolt could have been over torqued at one time and fatigued, or been through too many torque cycles. In the meantime, I'm putting that cap back on, and I have to finish cleaning out the oil pan. Well, clean the rails of all the silicone first, which will trash the oil pan, and then I'll hose that out with brake clean. Put it back on and continue on, hopefully getting this Mustang running again. All right, the saga continues. So even though the bolts torqued out to 90, 95, I was sketched out and decided to verify whether my torque wrench is in spec. So I went and got a rental, one of their higher end torque wrenches from AutoXandTrack. And I'm gonna compare specs, and the wheel lugs on my truck, spec is 140 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna loosen a couple of those and work my way up to at least 100 pounds using both torque wrenches and see if my torque wrench is still within the realm of reasonable. Yeah, that's 100. This is definitely set at 100. Yeah. All right, so my torque wrench is taking more torque. Wow. Well, that might be the problem, folks. Pressing and makes me feel stupid. So 110 on this is more than 140 on the other torque wrench. Guess that's why the bolt broke. I'm surprised a 1/2-inch main stud bolt breaks as easy as it is, but it looks like this torque wrench is out of calibration. So I might have got lucky that the other one came out, but now I don't know if I've overstretched the bolts that are in there. I didn't get on video, but I did compare the length of the bolt. I took them out and they're the same length as the original bolt that it came in. In fact, probably like 20 thousandths shorter. So they didn't permanently stretch or elongate. So I'm going to use this new torque wrench. I'm going to re-torque the rod bolts that I torqued yesterday to 55 pounds on that. And I'm going to torque 100 pounds on that and buy a new torque wrench. Your standard 1/2-inch ratchet here. But I just want to say, that's not a ratchet. Now this is a ratchet. I love any excuse to bring out one of my grandfather's tools. And I think I've shown this thing on the channel before, maybe not. But he worked for Westinghouse building steam turbines with this thing. This tool is probably older than me. And that's freaking cool. I mean, it's only 100 foot-pounds, so I don't really need this to break this loose. But like I said, any excuse. I suppose if I was a professional YouTuber, I'd know to stand on this side of the engine and talk to the camera, not have my back facing it. But there we go. I'm really enjoying my new garage lighting. I'd never want to come work out here in the nighttime. Even in the daytime, if it was like super cold or hot out and you wanted to keep the garage door closed, it kind of sucked. So I'm liking the ability to have good lighting for any time working on the car, day or night. Lube up my bolts. Let some of that excess oil drip off there. It was a lot easier turning this motor over with the engine stand adjusted so the motor wasn't sitting quite so tall and the center of gravity being quite so out of spec or out of whack. Got the word spec on the mind. All right, let's go use that fancy new torque wrench. Funny enough, the instructions on this torque wrench say before you use it, you got to warm it up. So it says adjust it all the way to max torque and then back down to minimum torque and then to your desired torque setting. All right. One, two, that's 80, that's 80, go to 100. The spec is 95 to 105, so we're splitting it right down the middle at 100. That's what the builder mic'd these bearings at. That's 100. That's 100. All right, no squeamish feeling on that set. Welcome back to the slowest oil pan gasket change on the internet. But I spent some time yesterday cleaning up the all the bolts here, chasing them with a tap and using a pick to get out old dried out silicone. So all the holes in the block for the pan rail I cleaned up. I've been cleaning all the surfaces off with some brake clean, and the pan is all cleaned out now as well. I just need to put the, I don't know what you call this tray, back on top. I just said time to put the silicone on. I had gloves on. I was doing a final wipe down of the mating surfaces, and I just happened to notice a little something right here. Figured out why. maybe it was leaking back here. Oil pan is cracked. The longest oil pan gasket change in history just got a little bit longer. Can't get nothing done on this car. Ah, man. Well, we'll see you guys again soon when, you know, that's welded or I plop down another $600 on a motor that is cursed. Cars, gotta love them. All right, got the oil pan welded up here. And good thing we caught that the cross member was rubbing right here across the pan, and on this side it was pretty deep gouge, so definitely at risk of creating another crack or wearing through. So now we're going to hit both these spots with some spray paint, keep it from rusting. All right, today's the day. It's happening. Sophie's back. Yay. To help me put this there with that behind it. Well, I guess it's a good thing I remembered this, but we had the engine basically in the car when I remembered that the cross member was hitting the oil pan and I needed to bevel the lip, which I never did. So now I got to crawl under there and see if I can get the grinder in position to bevel that while the engine's hanging there. Dang it. Well, it's in, but cool. It's half an inch too far to our side, or to my side. The engine motor mounts are in place, so phase one complete. Yeah, be excited. Woo!
Well, how many more phases are there? Do I have to tighten them both at the same time?
Just hold your left hand, don't let it move, and squeeze the trigger with your right. All the way till it won't spin anymore. Yeah, okay. Now do the one over here. All right, let me see this. You should be good to go. Now, I would say phase one is complete.
Okay.
Back in the garage after a little break to give my back a rest. But I couldn't sit in the garage, or I couldn't sit in the house too long because there's a lot to get done and I really want to drive this car. So I'm going to start putting stuff back on this engine, getting it mounted, getting it ready. I think maybe we'll put on some music and go to a time lapse and just get cranking on this thing and get it that much closer to driving again. There's something about getting to the part where you get to put the carburetor on. It feels good, even though I still gotta do the header on the other. Well, even though there's a lot of other things to do, still excited to get to this stage. We don't have the exhaust hooked up. We don't have water in the radiator, but I'm gonna see if this motor starts because, well, I really want to see if it runs right now. I don't want to wait. And if I wait till I get exhaust and radiator, that's at least another day. So let's see what happens. Oh man. First thing is see if we get fuel pressure and avoid any carb leaks. I can hear it. I see the needle bouncing. I can smell it. Making sure it ain't dripping. Huh. Wonder if we're out of gas. Ooh. Well, I'm going to try and start it anyways. What did I just remember though? Oh yeah, I should probably hook up the plugs on this side. But it sounds to me like there is not a whole lot of fuel left in the fuel cell. Well, at least the electrical passed the smell and smoke test. I don't smell any electrical, and I don't see any smoke. So, let's see what happens, shall we? And get a little throttle pedal extension. Huh. Well. Make sure there's. Oh yeah, there's fuel in there. Come on. Okay, stay back, Katie. It's loud. All right, well, I've not seen any oil pressure, so I'm a little worried about that. Disconnect the coil, just crank it for a minute. I did not tighten, I don't think I tightened the top on this gauge. But if that's not it, we're in trouble. Yeah, yeah.
Because the front door is locked, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, come on in. Hi, Katie.
Hey, Katie.
Huh. Oh, yeah, that's on there. Okay, it was just the line was loose. We got a low pressure. Let's see if we got running engine. Well, it runs, not great. That's enough noise for now. It could be just because, you know, there's no choke and it's cold. It's never run amazing cold, but it's way too loud to keep playing with it. So we'll play with it some more tomorrow once we got the exhaust on.